I'm Al Gordon. I live here with my wife. I think that the roughest part of this whole thing is watching your wife deteriorate as you live with her. My wife was a teacher for 30 years. She was a president of the New York State Teachers Association. She was a president of Hadassah. She used to paint. And you look at her now, and it's very easy for somebody to say, don't put too much into it, don't kill yourself. You can't do it. We're in an awkward spot because she's past the initial stage of Alzheimer's, but she's nowhere near the other end of it. So that half of the time, if you talk to her, you would never know she's even sick. But her memory is shot. She hasn't. And it's very difficult to part with. I don't know what else to tell you. Well, I find it very difficult now because she's finally fully aware that she's sick. And the one thing she's doing is, don't leave me alone. Don't let anyone take me away. You know, and
the fear, yes.
And then yesterday she looks up at me and she says, "Can't you help me?" There's very little you can do.
Well, I changed. My kid has changed a bit. I'm now sending her 5 days a week to my second home. It has, I think her attendance there has had a great beneficial effect to her and for her. We're experimenting with the 5 days. We don't know if it might be too much for her. I'm not sure. And we went to the neurologist on Thursday, and I don't know. I sometimes sit and question, why do we go to these meetings? Because there's nothing they can do. He looks at you, he asks you 5 questions, which we know she's not going to be able to answer, and he says, "I'll see you in 9 months." But what he told me this time was that I better start looking into nursing homes. So that's not a positive position. That's different. So we've got to step up on that.
She is able to do quite a few things, which I consider myself lucky, because first she plays the piano, and people say, "She plays the piano?" I says, "Yeah, it's the same music over and over again." She plays the piano, she can read the paper, she can actually carry on a conversation, and if you didn't know that she had Alzheimer's, you would just think that, she's normal, but or maybe she's just forgetting things. But the thing about Alzheimer's is that I never knew she had it, as probably you people have found out, that it was told to me by my friends, which was, Phyllis keeps repeating things or forgetting things. And I said, "Oh," so I thought I'd, keep an eye on that. And then I took her to the doctors, and they said, yeah, she has signs of Alzheimer's. So that was a shock to me, because that's the last thing I thought that would happen to her. We go to dances, like today I'm taking her to the nutrition center down in Peekskill so she could see her friends again. And she's pretty normal, and I use the word pretty loosely because she can do everything. She doesn't get upset. My son just, he came up from Atlanta to see me for a week, and he put in a bolt on top of the door. I was talking about getting a deadbolt so that I could lock it from the inside with a key, and then they said, "You can't do that, it's against the law." So we have this bolt that all I can do is I'll move it over when she tries to get out, because I don't know why, but she thinks she lives across the street. And she keeps telling me she's going to go home. I says, but you are home. And the first time it happened, she got out and went across the street and rang the bell, and then she came back into me and she says, there's nobody home. I says, where'd you go? I says, I went home. I says, but this is your home. No, I went across the street. So I told her, sit down, and I says, let me see your shoes. And her shoes were wet. I said, geez, she did go across the street. So then I start being a little more aware of what she was doing, and she'll come into the den, we'll be looking at TV, and she says, I gotta go over there. I said, you don't. I says, that's Bob's house. No, I live there. No, you don't live there. So I found, not to argue with her, I changed the subject. And it's great, because now she's on another thought, and that thing about the house is gone. So she'll come in and she's, I got nothing to do. And that's her biggest problem, that there's no other ladies around. So that's why the nutrition center is important for her, because she meets a lot of people there. And our visiting other places is limited. So we also go up to Graymore, the Mother Lorena house, which is a very nice home there that's run by the nuns, and they're a support group for a lot of adults that have problems, and they do singing, and we go to hospitals and nursing homes and sing for people, and she likes that, and she likes the people, but she always wonders, what am I doing here? I don't know anybody here. But then after she goes in, I can't get away from people. She's talking to them, she's friendly and everything. And then when we leave, all the nuns are giving her a hug, and I take her home, and she's quite happy. But, so I have to try to keep her occupied. The afternoons we go for a walk down on the track. I'm lucky, I think, that she's cooperative with me and the things that we do. There's no indication that she has a disease, except when you talk to her and she doesn't know who you are, or we'll be sitting there eating and she'll talk about something, and then 2 minutes later she'll be talking about it again, and I'll say, Phyllis, we just talked about that. Oh, okay. So that's it. It's a terrible disease, and the fact that we have a place like this. But I think if you have a partner, you have to do a lot of things. You can also get worn out, and I try to keep a happy attitude. And the walks we take is good because we meet other people. The nutrition, we meet people, and we go to the firehouse whenever they have affairs. So you really have to put her in circulation, because when she's home by herself, I think it's the worst thing, because most of the time when she's got nothing to do, she's sleeping. 2 things she loves to do: eat and sleep. I mean, eat. I make supper every night, and I put it in front of her at the table while we're watching television, and she says, boy, she says, you made that? I said, I'm a good cook. I says, nothing too good. I don't tell her that it's some of the stuff that we get from the nutrition center, some of the stuff I went to the supermarket, so I'll put some pickles and potato salad and stuff and make a half a sandwich, and she thinks it's great, and then
Good.
I give her coffee, and then I give her a piece of cake, and she's happy,
Right.
But she never says I'm not hungry. No.
Right.
So,
Goes with
so I think
That's exactly.
I think I'm lucky at this point. What's going to be down the road, I don't know.